Well, I have here with me Mr. Ashok Haranahalli. He is, of course, I think everyone in Karnataka would probably know him. He's a former Advocate General, and he's also a practicing senior advocate at the Karnataka High Court. And I am now speaking to him in his capacity as the president of the Akhila Karnataka Brahmana Mahasabha. And Mr. Haranahalli, you've made some very interesting comments. You've tweeted it out as well. What are you talking about when you say there is anti-Brahmin narrative that is being set in Karnataka today?
See, in India, the Indian culture has very deep roots. And we have great regard, respect and regard for our Vedic civilization. And see, Brahmins have been responsible for keeping this ancient culture alive. So they have certain practices which they practice on their own. They don't give trouble to others. Suppose you invite somebody to perform puja, they will go. If you don't want, you need not go. Nobody is compelled. Similarly, in temples also, the puja is done by the purohits. Nobody says, no, you should come to the temple as such. But even then, there has been a tendency in recent days to criticize all these purohits, archaks and the culture which the Brahmins follow. And this is reflected in many of the different occasions. For example, I will tell you with regard to the reservation to be increased to scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. A retired judge was appointed to give a report on this need to increase reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Absolutely, we have no objection.
You do Ashok committee?
No, that is Justice Nagmohan Das.
Nagmohan Das, yes. Okay.
So while giving a report, he goes on on a tangent. And he says that today the society, there is discrimination only because of Vedas, Ramayana and Mahabharata. Because of this, there is a caste discrimination in the society, which is entirely wrong. Because in all different castes which we find in the society, there is some kind of a subclass classification. It has nothing to do with the Brahmins. For example, in Okaliga, there are several sub-classifications, which is not given by us. It is on their own making. Yes. Similarly, Veerashaivas and Lingayats.
Yes.
So, these are nothing to do with Brahmins or whatever Brahmins do in the matter. But even then, he gave a report in writing to the government saying that it is because of Veda Upanishad there has been this kind of a discrimination in the society. And in several occasions, comments are being made on Brahmins. Then a distinction is sought to be drawn between Brahmins as a caste and Brahminization or what is Brahminism. Yes. What they call, I don't know, God only knows what Brahminism means, because Brahmins follow their certain tradition which is given by our ancient rishis and they keep it to themselves. Nobody is troubled by this. Even whatever puja even a Brahmins do or a Sandhyavandana do, they say that for example, you do Sandhyavandana, what you do is God give us the wisdom to decide. Ultimately, the buddhi, prachodana of buddhi is what is sought. That is ultimately it is for welfare of mankind. But people do not realize they are somehow creating an atmosphere which vitiates the total atmosphere in the society. So,
when you're talking about, like you said, Brahminism, that's like it's a current trope that's very popular, especially on social media. So everything becomes the fault of the Brahmin community, even if it's got nothing to do with the Brahmin community, right? So my question, sir, I come from Tamil Nadu, where there's a very long history of anti-Brahmin, a movement happened. A lot of things have happened. Some violence has happened. Karnataka is not like that. Is this something that's new to Karnataka, and why do you think it's?
Karnataka has not seen any physical violence as such. Now, there is some kind of a criticism which is found in social media and some in public speeches.
Is that new?
Recently, in this kind of public reports also, this kind of false narrative is sought to be set up. Otherwise, there is no physically, people today also respect Brahmins who follow a very orthodox and they lead a very sattvic life. That is appreciated by the people. But the problem here is, now, for example, recently, a person tweeted, one lady tweeted that today is Shankar Jayanti day, I performed the Upanayana of my son.
Oh, I saw that.
So somebody tweeted,
It
no,
just went
absolutely
crazy.
nonsense. He said, because you perform Upanayana, that is, there is a, you are responsible for all caste discrimination in the country. What
He accused
nonsense.
her of being casteist, actually.
Absolutely nonsense. I don't know what these people think that they have a right to comment on everything without knowing what is what. See, it is a kind of a, you follow a graduation ceremony. This is a kind of an orientation program.
Yes.
Just as you enter
Yes.
a study of Vedic literature, you undergo a particular
Rite of
student life.
initiation.
Yeah, so kind of an initiation. People don't understand. Nobody has prevented you from studying whatever. Now, today, for example, in Chinmaya Mission, Vedas are taught even to women. See, it is not something which is only kept in the prerogative, but you are not able to learn because you don't have the requisite intellect to understand and undergo a rigorous study which is required. For example, Aurobindo has written The Secret of Vedas, a book is written by Aurobindo. He has examined all these Vedic concepts and has written. It has nothing to do with the Brahmins or Brahmanism. Veda or Vedanta is meant for everybody. It is ultimately, it is a search for truth.
Correct.
See, questions are asked in Rigveda, where do I come from, where I am going. These are the questions which are asked. People don't understand. They see, the problem in today's life is, you think that you have a right to comment on everything without knowing what is what. So, the Brahmins are sought to be responsible. Now, today, in Hinduism, Brahmins are staunch Sanatana Dharma followers. There is no doubt about it. But today, there is, for example, in South Canara, it is only the Brahmin girls which are made as a target by persons belonging to other communities. Now, these girls are taken away and get themselves married to other religion, and they suffer a lot. Because Brahmins are targeted because they are very quiet, peace-loving people. If they target upon other communities, they will resist. But this is happening in South Canara. Today, see, the Kerala story is an example.
Yes.
Now everybody knows what is happening, but nobody wants to say it.
Okay.
You say, bring proof. But everybody knows. Now today, girls are taken to Middle East, ISIS, they are joining. And this kind of brainwash. Today in Kerala, Christians are worried.
Actually, the term love jihad was first spoken about by a Christian pastor.
Correct. So, today for everything they want to make Brahmins. Now, recently, because in the parliament inauguration of the new parliament building, the Prime Minister underwent a religious ceremony. He did Ganapati Homa.
Yes.
Thereafter, all religion prayers was made. Somebody posted a comment saying that making all kind of aspersions on all Purohits and others. In fact, all these Purohits came to us. See what is happening. We are all worried. If this kind of things happen, what should we do? So that is why we called a meeting of all lawyers. This should not be allowed to go on like this. We have to resist. So we called a meeting of all lawyers. We have taken a decision to legally take up steps in case such things happen.
Okay. And so you were going to take legal steps in case there's any narrative, anti-Brahmin narrative on social media or?
On social media or otherwise?
Otherwise also. Okay. And it's a very difficult thing, right? I mean, there are so many anonymous handles. They're saying all sorts of things.
But we would like to make an attempt. I know it is difficult. That is why we did not do it. There are anonymous handles, but we have to make a beginning. There are also lot of other persons who can be traced. So we have to make a beginning. Otherwise, if you allow this to happen, then, but unfortunately, there is one negative aspect for the Brahmins. See, somebody criticizes Brahmins. The maximum sharing of that video is done by Brahmins only. They go on sharing that video and then tell me, no, you have to do something. But they need some kind of an assurance that somebody is there to take care of them.
Okay.
So at least for that purpose, we have to do something.
Okay, so you want to start off by making an example and sending on the message that legal action will be taken.
Along with that, we also want to provide some kind of a legal aid to poorer section. And also give legal assistance to all these mutts and other places. So along with that, this also we want to do it. That is why we are making a group of lawyers.
Okay, that's great. So all the lawyers in this group are Brahmin or?
No,
Your members
all the
from
lawyers
other
I
castes.
have called only Brahmin lawyers because we want to involve those who are our members.
Okay.
So we are only involving Brahmin lawyers.
Okay. Now, critics of, Brahmins and Brahmanism, as you said, nobody really knows what it is. But what they say is that Brahmins, even today, especially the priestly communities, right, the priestly class, they practice untouchability in some sort of sense. Like, people should not touch them, you know. What
See,
do
you
you
have
say to
gone
those
to
things?
Bali. If you go to Bali, in front of the temple it is written that unless you come in the prescribed dress, you are not supposed to enter.
Okay.
Suppose I have to go to a court. I have to wear a prescribed dress.
Correct.
Now you cannot wear any dress and enter. For example, you want to enter to a Garbhagudi, now you have to follow certain rituals.
Okay.
Everybody cannot enter. You cannot say, I will come and wear shoes and come. A toilet and a kitchen is not the same.
Correct.
So similarly, it is not untouchability. This is the mistake which Supreme Court did while dealing with the case of this Ayyappa. Where they refer to untouchability. This is a mistake which they did. It is not untouchability. It is a case that you have to follow certain rituals. Suppose you go to a Kerala temple, you have to wear a proper dress and go.
Yes.
Otherwise you are allowed. There is no kind of untouchability. See, persons who follow certain sattvic rituals, that is prescribed rituals, they follow, they are very strict. For example, some are called as Agnihotras. Every day, morning, evening, they have to maintain this Agni, that is fire in their house.
Okay.
So they can't go anywhere. 24 hours they have to stay in that house. Today, recently somebody told me there are 140 Agnihotris in the country.
Oh.
So they can't go anywhere except the house. They have to remain always. They have some prescribed rituals. So they cannot go anywhere and touch any person. So they have their own certain
That can be interpreted
that
as...
is not only to non-Brahmins but also to Brahmins.
Okay.
See, for example, if I go with a panted shoe, even though I am a Brahmin, I cannot go and enter. So it is ultimately certain standards are prescribed for doing certain things. Now you don't want to follow it, you go do it in your house, nobody prevents. See, you want to, suppose let us say you want to study Veda. There is a prescribed manner, you have to wear a particular dress, go and take initiation from a guru. They follow, that is they follow. No, I will do it on my own, you do it. Nobody prevents you. Now today everything is available in books, go and study.
Right.
So there is nothing, no prohibition as such. Today untouchability is not the issue. No doubt in some places this practice of untouchability is there, we cannot encourage that. But that type of untouchability is followed by many other communities, not by Brahmins.
Okay.
No, so therefore, so far as untouchability is concerned, it cannot be accepted at all. Ultimately, our ancient tradition says that ultimately everybody represents the divinity in man. So untouchability we cannot encourage, but following Brahmin tradition doesn't mean untouchability. So you have to, for example, you have to do Sandhya Vandana, you have to do Achamana. Suppose you have to do start puja, you have to do Achamana. That is, take the name of God Vishnu, then drink little water, then only you can sit for puja.
Right.
You can't go straight away sit for puja. So these are all certain standards which is kept for, so that there is kind of a discipline is there. That is nothing to do. Now you want to worship God, you can go and do it. Now what is happening in art of living and as well as Sadguru, they are doing in their own way. You can also go and do it. Nobody is compelling you to do this in this manner. You want to do it, I want to do it in this manner. You cannot say, you shall not do it, you shall do it in the manner which I like. You cannot do it, and nobody is compelling you. Now today how many Brahmins are there in the villages? Now see, in Karnataka what has happened, I will tell you. Now Land Reforms Act came. All lands which were in the occupation of tenants were given to tenants.
Correct.
So many of the Brahmins lost thousands of acres.
Okay.
So they did not object. Then the inams were given by the Maharaja to Brahmins. So those inams were taken away by Inam Abolition Act. Then there was village offices like Shanboks and Kulkarnis. That office also was taken away and the land was also taken away. Nobody objected. Now in the village, they have difficulty in living. All of them migrated to urban places. Now in village, there are only 1 or 2 houses of Brahmins, and there are several villages, no Brahmins are there. Even the Brahmins which are there in a rural place are in very difficult condition. So many of them have migrated to cities. What is that you are complaining about? What untouchability or something is being practiced? It is by other communities. Brahmins are not found in the villages at all these days. So in cities you merge in the sea, ocean. So nobody knows who is what.
Correct.
So therefore, this is always a figment of imagination by certain others. See, some film stars also have this. It is becoming fashionable for them to criticize.
That's another question I wanted to ask you. Like you said, film stars are talking about all of this. A whole lot of young influencers are talking about all of this. Why do you think this is now suddenly a trend in the last few years?
Probably it has become fashionable for them to criticize Brahmins. It has become quite fashionable because
but why
they
only
think...
Brahmins? Why not somebody else?
No, the problem is Brahmins will not resist.
Okay.
If you criticize the Akhila and Veerashaiva, you will be in trouble in the next day.
Okay.
A Brahmin is not, he does not bother, he is a peace-loving person. So that is thought to be misused by the concerned persons.
Okay.
I don't know how they are threatened by Brahmins, nobody can understand. Now today, reservation has taken place, nobody has opposed. You encourage from 50 to 56% reservation, Brahmins did not oppose. You brought in the central government, the constitution was amended and you brought in this economically weaker section.
EWS, yes.
This economically EWS is not given effect to by the state government till date.
Yes.
Then you brought in Muslims to this category. We are not objected. Now we are doing work on our own. That also you have difficulty. You are not giving any facility to us. When BJP government was there, we repeatedly went to them. Give us in 2019 a conference, state level conference was held. Chief Minister assured that we will give 5 crores to us to construct a building. Now 2 years nothing happened. Previous Chief Minister, BJP government went and met several times, nothing happened. People think that BJP is with supports Brahmin, but nothing happened. Today in Telangana Chief Minister is giving 100 crores every year.
Yes.
And he is supporting students who want to go abroad. And Purohits are being paid salary. Here not even 1 crore is given to us. Now today we want to construct a huge building. Out of that revenue we want to help people. We don't have funds. But the government thinks that helping Brahmins is not possible at all. They think that Brahmin, they constituted Brahmin Development Board. They did not give them funds. Proper fund, that also was not of any use to them. So ultimately, all right, we don't want your help. We will stand on our own. That also your difficulty.
Do you think there needs to be some sort of legislation against hate speech or hate crimes? Which could come where this anti-Brahminism could come in?
Legislation is not an answer for everything.
Okay.
But see, today the only protection is given to SC/STs.
Correct.
There is an SC/ST Atrocities Act.
Yes.
But every community cannot go on demanding legislative protection. If Brahmins seek protection, then other communities also
No, I'm
will
not talking
come
about a Brahmin-specific legislation. I'm talking about general hate speech.
Yeah, hate speech is something which has to be, Supreme Court also is considering that matter.
Okay.
Something has to be done. The social media people are sitting quietly at home. They are probably itching to criticize somebody. They will write all kinds of nonsense. That is something, some regulatory measure has to be put in place.
Because so far nothing seems to be really working as far as the social media platforms are concerned.
Correct.
Like somebody who's abusing a Brahmin in various terms, like in Tamil we say Punol, or they'll say Nuliban. They call Tamil Brahmins as Nuliban. Like Taliban, Nul is the Punol, the sacred thread. So these kind of words are used, but it's not considered as hate speech by the social media platforms.
Hate speech, how to regulate hate speech is a moot question. So Supreme Court also is considering it. Probably we have to bring in some kind of a legislation. Otherwise, the present Indian Penal Code probably is not sufficient to handle
this.
See, the problem is the technology is overtaking law. Now, today artificial intelligence has come. How do you control artificial intelligence?
Yes.
Now, what information they give is not known to us. Whether it is correct or also not, that also we don't know.
True.
So, technology has overtaken the law and law is lagging behind.
It's time to play catch up probably. But so you are going to be dealing with, is this effort of yours, the lawyers collective that you're talking about, Is this specific to Karnataka, or is it a pan-India?
No, ours is only confined to Karnataka. All districts in Karnataka, we are trying to develop a network. Now, a network of lawyers, and including lawyers which are practicing at the district and taluk level. It's only confined to Karnataka.
Okay, that's great. Well, good luck in your endeavor, and I can definitely empathize with the cause that you're standing up for. So thank you very much for speaking with us. So that was Mr. Ashok Haranahalli, and this is Sandhya Ravishankar for the Lead.